So I want to talk about 5 missing pieces in leadership right now as we think about what's going on. And the first is pretty self-evident to all of us here. Leadership is in complete disarray. You think about the rise of the strongmen around the world, the environmental disasters, weather disasters, the crisis in immigration where people are fleeing their countries because they're afraid for their lives. And the world is in a pretty sorry state because the underpinning element of all of these things that are of concern to us is leadership. Where is the leadership that is guiding and shaping all of these devastations that are going on in the world? You think about an accountant, a doctor, a lawyer, what do? They go to school for 10 years. Every year they've got to get accreditation. What does a leader do? If they're lucky, they read maybe a couple of blogs a month. How did they get there? They simply maybe excelled in delivering results, and so therefore they were put into a position of leadership. I've worked with a lot of engineers, for example, who are great engineers, and all of a sudden they're working with 200 engineers, and they're failures. And the responsibility of leadership now is to engage. Leadership needs a recode. And one of the enemies of leadership right now is this thing. Few people really have thought through the implications of technology on leadership. For 2 centuries, we've pretty well looked at 5 ways to look at leadership, what I call the 5 W questions. Who is leading? When and where are they leading? Why are they leading? And what are they leading? Those are the questions. How we lead is the most challenging one. It's the one that is the least researched, it's the least understood. It's what I've spent the last 7 years under a microscope trying to understand how leadership happens among and between people. So it's a fascinating time as you look at the evolution of what's going on in leadership and the true need now to be a different kind of leader, to make those connections and understand how to engage and retain people, because the biggest problem now is people are leaving companies that just don't embody what they believe in. And so leaders are attributed leadership the more you reflect the people that you work with and represent as a formally appointed leader, as a president or a vice president or a director or a manager, the more leadership will be given to you. People will just give it to you. So you can imagine when you're in a lockdown, again, it's this crazy confusion and collision of all of these feelings that you have, which is why you need this possibility space to step back and be able to be aware of your situation, to be unsettled by your situation, to take responsibility for your situation, and to get into action. Those 4 steps, the aura, A-U-R-A, are ways that you can begin to step back and give yourself that moment. Now, how do you lead through change? Change is the biggie, isn't it? Every leadership expert around the world, if they agree on anything, they say that leadership is change. And all of you are thinking about how you're going to change your businesses, how you're going to grow your businesses. And part of the learning that I've had in the last few years is that change has sort of been viewed as this amorphous blob. You know, we just kind of go into it. And what I found as I was interviewing people, there are 8 different kinds of change. And so as you think about your next big issue, whatever it may be that you're trying to work through, consider what kind of change it is before you take action on it. And it's interesting, I have given women as an example here because I do think that there's an opportunity for women now to step up in different and unique ways to imbue a different kind of leadership. Those of you who are working with all-male groups, there's been studies done that if you simply inject 1 female, 1, into any team, the decision-making improves. It's been empirically proven. 1 woman. So be careful, because there's a lot of tokenism going on right now where one woman is saying, you know what, I'm not going to be the token woman asked to go on that board. I think that's wrong. I think if you're asked to join anything, or if you can get your pointy foot in, get it in. Because these are the kinds of changes that the world really needs right now. These female academics who are all over the world trying to create some change in how we think about leadership are vastly being underrepresented and unheard. If you look at the majority of leadership speakers around the world right now, they are men over 50. And I thank you for having me here today because I represent, I hope, a different voice and a different view on what leadership is about. So when we think about what is this missing piece, it is relational leadership. It is how we lead through thinking about the processes and practices and performance and passion that we have. It is thinking about how we create a holistic world and vision and view. And it's been documented that the more relational we are, the healthier and happier your workplace will be. Continue to ask yourself how you develop yourself. Deeply think about, what am I doing now for myself and my team as a leader? And our ability to understand how those ages and generations can complement and help each other is, I think, a huge opportunity for you as leaders. Because at the end of the day, relational leadership is not about being nicer. It's not about me being your best friend. It's about me harnessing all the intelligence out there, connecting it, making sense of it, and being able to put the pieces together to drive your performance.